there's a lot of issues here in Portland. A lot of really horrible things happen to a lot of people here that goes unaddressed. It goes unaddressed by leadership. It goes virtually unaddressed by the nonprofits that are paid millions and millions of dollars to address those situations. Unfortunately, it goes unaddressed by law enforcement. And most importantly, it goes unaddressed by the people that live here in Portland.
So what is the solution? Pleased to bring in now Damian Bunting, who is a public safety advocate, 25 years in Portland, and independent journalist Nick Sortor, who we saw right there on the Antifa roundtable at the White House. Gentlemen, a pleasure to have you both.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Nick, I know you've been on the streets there. You've had some interaction. Give us the latest on what you're seeing. And obviously you have a direct line now to the White House and their plan for Antifa. But there may be some roadblocks when it comes to whether it be judges or some officials who are not taking it as serious as many in the community say they need to.
Yeah, well, as Damian will probably back me up on this as well, the Portland government does not take this seriously. They haven't done it in years, actually. This is really nothing new. It's just sort of come to it's got a bigger spotlight on it now after they decided to arrest me rather than arrest the people that are actually causing problems out there on the street. But, you know, I really pity, you can see in the background where that munition just went off there. That is an apartment building where residents there that are trapped in a lease, they have begged and begged and begged the city government to do something about the constant unrest that's on the streets out there. They won't enforce the noise ordinances. They basically told the residents to go pound sand. And a lot of these people are, and I've heard it from multiple residents there that people that live in that building, there are a lot of veterans that have PTSD. There are children crying in the hallways and the elevators and such. And I mean, it infuriates me that these people are victims of their government just willing to play into the hands of these leftist militants on the street.
All right, Damian, you know the city very well. Talk to us about what we see every single day and the lack of care from the local authorities. Now the administration wants to come in and do something.
Well, first off, I've only been in Portland for 5 years. I moved here in 2020, so I just want to make that clear. You know, working on the street as a private security guard and working as a public safety advocate, you know, my stance comes more from the position of just someone who lives here. I'm not a political activist, but I'm absolutely just kind of at a loss for what we're doing here. I really hate that the president said that the city was burning, because we've spent the last 2 months kind of arguing over semantics. It's not technically burning, but there's so many issues here where help from the federal government or from anyone would be greatly appreciated by a large number of people who live here. I purchased a home just under $400,000 3 years ago. And directly across the street from me is a drug house where they've pulled 5 bodies in the last year out of that home. There's absolutely nothing that I can do about that. Directly down the street from me, there's tents, there's RVs on our street. There's literally no recourse for the people that live here who aren't politically motivated, who aren't leaning one side or the other. There's no recourse.
You just want to have a life.
No one for us to call.
Right.
Yeah, we have no one to call, no one to reach out to. It's insane.
It is insane, and this clip might explain why, because people running it maybe have more time on their hands than they need. This is an Oregon State Rep, Dacia Graber. She was not happy that Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, was there. And when Noem was there, she said that they are a bunch of pansies as elected officials. And this is the state rep here in her own words, gentlemen.
Elected pansy checking in. Kristi, maybe it's time for you to learn a thing or two about pansies. Pansies were a form of LGBTQ visibility coming into fashion during the pansy craze of the late 1920s and 30s. They came to symbolize queer culture, flamboyance, hope, and resistance against homophobic and transphobic violence. Sounds dangerous. Also, did you know pansies can grow anywhere? Well, they like full to partial sun. They are also hardy in cool weather, entering a state of dormancy to survive harsh winters. That tracks. You know what pansies don't
Dacia
like?
Graber. You know, if I'm Antifa and I'm organized and I'm funded, I got this dark money, great. People like that, they're unserious, Nick. Why not continue with the mayhem and the madness? People like Damian and the veterans you interview are the ones who are victimized, and nobody seems to care.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like this is the reason that people are begging the federal government for help at this point, because help is just not coming from the state level nor the city level. It's, I mean, this just reinforces the point that many of us have been making for quite a while in Portland now, and I just. This is a joke. You saw Ron Wyden the other day, the U.S. Senator from Oregon, on the streets in front of the ICE facility, but he went at like one of the most dormant times you can possibly go. And, you know, he tilted the camera around, you know, spun it around for 30 seconds, said, look, oh, nothing's going on. Okay, I'm going to run out of here and leave. They never come at night, ever.
Well, they come in pansy costumes on social media, apparently. I mean, I want to give you the final word, because that... It's, in a way, it is hard to watch, because people always say elections have consequences. But, you know, if you see these people that aren't taking it seriously yet running things and staying in power, Damian, it has to be rectified somewhere. I mean, are you going to move? I mean, if you don't move, I'm not so sure how long you can handle that situation.
You know, unfortunately, you don't have the ability to just uproot yourself and leave. And that's pretty much the answer that most people give. If you're not happy, just go somewhere else. Well, I've invested into a home. I've invested into a career. I've invested into a life. And that shouldn't be the only answer. People who are hardworking Americans, I myself am a veteran. I suffer from PTSD myself. You know, we shouldn't be in a position where our only answer is to get up and leave. We have a government. We have leadership that's supposed to be working for us. But instead of taking time to be in costume, they should be talking to people like myself, people like Nick, people here on the streets, and figuring out ways to help us. This is not something that should be performative or should be partisan. There's people who are living here in Portland who need help, who want a better life. And we're not able to do that because there's no one who's advocating for us.
Well, we're here to continue to tell your story, Damian, and I know Nick is as well, and he's doing a lot of the heavy lifting out there. Tossling with these people, and fearless out there. Nick Sortor always in some of the hot spots. I appreciate you both. Come back and see us. We want to continue this conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Keep it up, Damian.
Thank you, Nick.